For landlords, by landlords. The Rent Perfect Podcast with David Pickron.
Well, hello, and thank you for joining us on the Rent Perfect Podcast. Scott, my sidekick, good to see you.
Never been better.
Never been better.
Never been better, man.
Okay, I'm not even going to ask you then,
No,
huh?
don't. It may have been that sandwich I just had for lunch, but never been better.
Oh, I got to get more creative on my openings, I guess. I don't know. But got to get this thing started somehow, you know?
Yeah.
It is November, and Christmas is around the corner. Does your life go as quickly as mine?
Yes.
Does? So what are some fads this year? Like, what are you buying your grandkids?
Ooh, good question. They like these. I can't remember the name of it is, but it's this little thing, this little Japanese toy. I don't know. I even asked her the other day. I said, "Now, what's that thing again?" She told me. I can't remember what it is, but yeah.
All right. So every year there's some new fad or
Yep.
some new thing that the kids want, and and next year's something else, right?
Yep.
Can you remember some of your Christmases or some stuff in your life?
I mean, fad-wise, right? I as a teen through the 80s, I hearken back to that stupid thing we call the Rubik's Cube.
Never could figure it out.
Never figured it out. I do have several that maybe not. The stickers were removed and put back onto the right. I can never figure it out, so I thought I'll just put the stickers. I'll move the stickers. But yeah, I mean that was something that came back for me. I actually have a couple in my office now, as a reminder that this is not my thing.
Yeah. I noticed one is mixed up.
Yeah, one's mixed up
and one's not touched.
Yeah, I bought one that was solved already. That way, it's my inspiration. So
don't mess with you and go in your office and mix that one up too. It'll never get
we'd
back.
have words if that happens. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know. Being an empty nester, I'm just thinking this year, what am I going to get my grandkids? I hope you're going to help me. But this thingy Japanese explanation,
I'll find the name for it. It doesn't really help.
Doesn't really help me.
Yeah.
Well, we're here for real estate today, not Christmas gifts.
Not knickknacks, okay.
But in real estate, I think the same thing happens. We have these fads that come around. Some of them stick. Some of us try certain things. Some of us fall in love with certain ways to manage real estate. Yeah. And then others fall out of love with certain things that sounded good but didn't really work out.
Didn't pan out quite how you thought.
A good example of this would be years ago, I started staying in VRBOs or Airbnbs, and I really liked them. Way better experience than a hotel, especially with my kids and everything. I started thinking, I've got some properties, and started looking into it, and you could make a lot more money on that piece of real estate. But usually in the real estate world, or really in any investing world, a lot more money usually takes a lot more time, right?
Yep.
Now, there are people out there that hit home runs and hardly work, and I understand that.
Yeah.
Love those deals. They come a few times in a lifetime. But for the most part, on a day-to-day basis, if you work harder, you make more money. I mean, makes sense.
Typically, yeah.
Right? And so I had the lone VRBO short-term rental up about 2 hours north of here on a street, booked all the time.
Yeah.
Was amazing.
It's a beautiful property. Yeah.
Had 7 lots next to that one empty. So I bought 2 of them, built 2 more. So I had the only 3. And I kind of cannibalized myself a little bit. Now, it still wasn't bad, but it wasn't, right. The volume wasn't there. Well, 4 more lots down were bought by somebody who said, oh, man, Dave's making a killing up there.
Yeah.
So now there's 7 of these things in a row. And the economy's turned.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot less people are spending that kind of money or taking those family vacations. Sometimes they're just going camping, or they're doing something that's just a little bit more cost effective.
Yep.
And so as we go over our numbers up there, they have declined, which makes sense. We're overloaded.
Yep. Yeah.
So in this last year, I've sold 1, and I've taken 2 of them, and I've turned them into long-term rentals, which work great for me. I didn't do that just because of the analyzing it. I did that because it started taking a lot of time with cleanings, and my wife was pretty much managing that, and we were teaching around the country about short-term rentals and what you should do and shouldn't do, and it was very successful. And we still have a few of them. But for us, it was kind of a fad. It's something we tried, something we liked, But after a while, with our lifestyle, we just decided we needed more time than money.
Right.
And so we're shedding those things in our life that take a little bit much of our time. Just want to get to the point where we're with our grandchildren a little more, and my phone's not ringing 24/7, and I actually can stay, at the dinner table for more than 15 minutes.
Work on the things that really matter at the end of the day, right?
Right. So I'm seeing not so much a fad, but kind of something that's kind of being repositioned that we used to call one thing and now we're calling it another, and that is a lot more people are talking about renting by the room. Okay?
Right.
Makes sense. I bought 3 or 4 homes because I knew I was comparing how much I could make with short-term rentals, so I could spend a little bit more on those houses because I knew I was going to make a little bit more on those houses, better, right?
Yeah.
It was hard to buy homes at this price and then do long-term rentals. I just didn't even make the mortgage or, the cap I wanted at all. So, but now people are saying, hey, how can I generate more income with the same house or condo or duplex or whatever they have? And I'm hearing around, as I travel around a little bit, a lot more people talking about renting by the room. Now, why I say this isn't new is because we've had student housing for a long time.
Which is just the poor man's version of this. Maybe.
Exactly. But we're hearing things out there, too, called affordable housing, right? We need to provide affordable housing, and I would 100% fully agree with that. So I want to talk today the benefits.
Okay.
But also the struggles you're going to have if you decide to take your home, change your whole business model, and rent by the room instead of rent the whole unit.
Yeah, it does present some unique challenges, and I'm glad we get to dive a little bit deeper into this today.
But the positive side, landlord makes more money. Tenant finds an affordable place to live.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So far, so good.
2 pros so far.
So good.
Yep.
And I love that. And if it means someone being homeless or getting a $500 or $600 room a month, I want that room available for them.
Yep.
Okay. But a business is more than just taking money and giving keys. Right?
100%.
So with more rent, honestly, comes a few more responsibilities, problems, interactions, time, relationships.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So what are some things you think you're going to get more of if you take your house and rent it by the room?
Well, I know. I mean, for me, as we've talked about this, my very first thing that I came out with, I live on a street that's a one-way street. So where am I going to put 5 or 6 cars now? Right? I have a 2-car garage on this property, a driveway, but really can't use that if I'm using the garage because I can't lock people in. So let's say I have 5 tenants in my home and I've got 2 parked in the driveway. Where do the other 3 cars go? Right? How does the neighbor feel about that? How does the HOA feel about that? How does my city feel about that? So that's a challenge for sure.
Right. So come the people, come the cars.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's outside the unit.
Yep.
I tell you what, you've been a landlord and you've rented to larger families. You've rented to couples.
Yeah.
Right? What does the house look like after you get those houses back with the family and the kids versus the 2 adults?
I mean, there's additional wear and tear, right? I don't think it's even if I have 2 people in there versus 4, it doesn't double. It's more of an exponential. Like they just wear the house out more.
Right.
All right. So now let's say I'm putting 7 people into what was a 3-bedroom.
Right.
Right. I'm really beating that house up.
Right. So even if they're good and taking care of things, it's just use, right?
Yeah.
It's just use. You use something long enough, it's just going to wear out. And so you're going to have more and more wear and tear.
Yeah. There's a ton of cost to it just to convert the house, right? We've talked about this a little bit, but I take a 3-bedroom and make it now a 7. So I take the living room and make that 2 bedrooms. Maybe there's a TV room or some kind of another room that I maybe convert into another bedroom. There's construction costs.
Right. So as you try to maximize your house out, you're taking that living room, cutting it in half and making 2 more bedrooms.
Right.
Because the reality is when you rent by the room, you don't want a lot of common area. That's a waste of money, waste of time. No one's hanging out there, nor do you want to provide all the amenities in a common area.
Right.
Right. So you've got a lot of people teaching that you take a 3-bedroom, you turn it into a 5, 6, 7-bedroom home with maybe 2 baths, and people share bathrooms that live in those rooms. So yeah, it's not like a short-term rental where you can furnish it, put it on the software platforms, and it didn't work. Take my furnishings out and rent it out.
Yeah, now it's a long-term rental.
Yeah,
easy.
It's a total remodel of your home, and not just decorating, not just furniture, but a remodel of moving walls and construction and new flooring. And then you say, "Oh, this really isn't working out for me," like I did on my short term in that position. What if I had a $50,000 remodel now to put that home back
to unwind, right?
Unwind it. I $50,000 to wind in, $50,000 to unwind it. I got $100,000 mistake right there. If it didn't work for me, you've got to think about that.
Yep.
If you're going to maximize your home, like a lot of people are teaching, if you're going to rent your home out the way it is, you might make a little bit more money than a long-term rent, but really the people that are teaching how to make a lot more money have 5, 6, 7 bedrooms in a small house. Okay, what else you can have more of?
Well, you kind of mentioned we got a lot more communication, right? Now I'm not just talking to one renter or one family, whatever. I'm now talking to 7 or 6. So with communication comes negotiation and comes trouble sometimes, right? So I'm going to have a lot more phone calls, a lot more putting out the proverbial fires that happen in any kind of relationship, which I'm not really interested in. When we talk about how do I get my time back, I don't want to spend my time on the phone, refereeing between 2 of my 7 tenants. Yeah.
Now, if you're renting the home out to one person by themselves and they pick their roommates and their roommates move in, you invited those guys, right? Now, sometimes I tell stories and I, make myself look foolish. But I had a best friend in high school, and we went up to college together. I mean, you ask anybody who knew us in high school, oh, yeah, Dave and Dale, right? They're always together.
Inseparable.
Right? And it wasn't 2 months up in college that we weren't fist fighting over, I don't even know what it was, probably something pretty stupid.
You probably ate
But we no
cereal
longer
or something,
could be roommates nor friends because we were both out for the first time, didn't really realize some maybe the heartaches of roommate situation, right? And leaving, stuff here, and I'm always doing dishes and you're partying and, and all that stuff that comes. But there are relationships that don't work in rentals, and now all of a sudden, you, like you said, have a relationship with 5 different people, and you better hope they all get along.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, what else I think is important that you need more of is you need more paragraphs in your lease, right?
Yeah.
Because I had a friend call me who did this, and right now he's kind of on the fence. He's like, yeah, I'm making a little bit more money, but I'm not really sure, and he's kind of playing with this concept. And we're actually probably going to bring him on a podcast here in a little while and really drill down on his experiences, and we'll hear right from somebody who's done it. I've never done it. I'm just telling you why I'm scared of it.
Yeah.
And we're still not done with the more, so you'll see the one more that I'm really bothered by. But if they have a problem with each other, like, so, hey, this person is in the pool at night, he's partying till 2, I've got to work in the morning, he's keeping me up at night. So in that lease, do you have now pool rules?
Yeah.
When it shuts down, do you have who owns what shelf in the refrigerator, right? You have to, really think this lease out and take it to an attorney, because now you're really going to have to get very specific. So when a tenant comes to you with a problem, you can look at your company policies, which is your lease, and you can say, if this happens, you've signed this, then this happens. Right? And oftentimes it's very hard to solve an issue between 2 people, and one person just needs to leave, which now comes to the turn.
Right.
So what are you going to have more of if you rent by the room?
More tenants, right? You're going to have high turnover.
High turnover.
And this product really lends itself to that. No, most people don't go into this going, I want to sign a 3-year lease to live in my one little 10 by 10 bedroom and
Right.
share a bathroom with 4 other human beings.
Right.
That's not really the goal, right?
In which might change every month.
Sure.
Who I get a new person.
Yeah.
So it's like taking your home and turning it into an apartment community or hotel
Yeah.
with shareable common areas.
Or
Okay.
a youth hostel, right? It's like, I mean, nobody wants to long-term live in a youth hostel. So this is kind of a similar setup.
And where are you at with liabilities on this, Scotty?
I mean, here, like we because we live in this world of background checks, right? We deal this hundreds of background checks every day. I mean, you better make sure that you are vetting every person that goes into that property the same way, right? That you have a very strict criteria, that you're not putting someone in there where you're going to skirt the rules, because liability is, hey, now we're sharing a bathroom.
Right.
So, I mean, imagine the harm and damage that happens if by some chance you put a sex offender in there, right? And who wants to share a bathroom with that individual?
Right.
Nobody, right?
Right.
You just better make sure that you're doing your due diligence on
And
the
God
vetting
forbid
side.
if something happens with that sex offender, you don't think you're going to be in a court of law asking questions,
Right.
or answering questions? Absolutely.
Yep.
So your liability goes out the roof on here.
Yep.
So you dang well better, like I said, have that extensive lease, but you better on board with proper backgrounds. I'm a little impartial to Rent Perfect. Feel really
Just a little bit.
comfortable
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the way
yeah. Right,
they do their background
Yeah,
checks,
yeah.
right? But that's probably the number one reason that scares me personally for when you rent by the room.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are people out there, and I want you to comment. Those who don't agree with me, who aren't scared or who do this, I want you to comment. And I want you to say, Dave, listen, there's nothing to worry about. Maybe this is what I do. Because I'm not all for always vetting something and saying this doesn't work for me, so it shouldn't work for you.
Right.
This very well might be your cat's meow. I mean, this might be where you want to be the rest of your investing career, you know?
Yeah.
But it is definitely a different model. A different model in the house, a different model in the tenant, a different lease. It's just a different model.
Yeah.
It's almost like you no longer are in a single-family home. You're now in a multifamily property,
Yeah.
and you have to worry about people interacting with each other. And not everybody lives the same lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I worry about. And then just the amount of time that you're going to spend in these turnovers, in this communication, in the onboarding, right? In maintaining the home.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to have more costs. And you gotta think about that
you have
too.
to figure that in. Yeah.
When you have common areas, right? Do you take the electric bill from last month that you just get
Mm-hmm.
and divide it between everybody when people are moving in and out and they left? And I mean,
Right.
it gets to be an administrative nightmare.
Yeah.
You know?
You have a guy that's got a 3-month lease and a guy that's getting for 2 weeks, and like, how do you trace all that? Yeah, it's an administrative.
Right.
It's a jungle. Like, I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And he uses more electricity than me, or he takes half an hour showers, or
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it just is. Just remember that when you rent by the room, you make more, but there's a lot more.
Yeah.
You need to certainly worry about. But once again, this works for many people, and there are platforms and companies that are coming out like Pad Split that are teaching people how to do this. I'm not for or against it. I'm not saying do it, don't do it. I'm saying for me, I have these concerns, and where I'm at in life, am I looking for more?
Right. Not really. Yeah.
Not really.
We're looking for a little
Right.
bit more free time. A little
Now,
less.
me in my 20s and 30s, I might give this a go and say,
Yeah.
hey, and then probably let it play out and then make my own decision. But after having this many years behind me and knowing not only real estate and
Mm-hmm.
property, but knowing people, I mean, think of what you and I
Yeah.
see every day.
Yeah. We see a lot of times the worst of the worst.
Yeah, we do. And I think that's the advantage here that we have. If I went out there and I grabbed 10 random files and I brought them in here and I didn't even look at them, I can tell you 3 or 4 would have people that I just would worry about maybe not renting the whole place to.
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
certainly renting a room
Yeah,
with
single-family
other people
home.
that I'm.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah.
No problem. So, hey, hope we just got you thinking on this. If you're thinking about going down this road, like I said, very, very lucrative. More money in your pocket. But really, you know your situation better than anybody else. And we hope that we've kind of given you a broader education on renting by the room. And Scotty, thanks for joining me today.
Happy to be
You
here.
can come rent one of my rooms any day.
Yeah, I bet.
And until next time, continue to rent. Perfect.